Hey, Kiss Army, it's Bruce Kulick, with my beautiful asylum guitar. And you're listening to the Kiss Army Nation podcast. They're incredible. So crank it up with them.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 63 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Pasquale Veri.
And I'm Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
So, Claudio, welcome back to the show. It's been a
Thank
while
you.
since you've been
Thank
gone.
you. I know. I missed you guys. I missed you so much.
No, we missed you too. Rella's been stepping in your place. She's been doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Really glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. Well, I've seen all of the episodes, and between you and Rolla, man, so it's been great. So I loved some of them, most of the episodes, and some of the guests that we had, they were fantastic. So thanks for stepping in, Rolla, and again, Pas, as usual, thank you for your support.
Always. So did you have a good trip?
Yeah, it was good. It was a family trip, long-awaited trip with my teens, with my daughter, my son, and my wife. And we went. We visited 3 countries in Europe. So we've been in France, Spain, and Portugal. We missed some of the shows from Kiss just for a week.
Ouch.
But no, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was fantastic. We had a good time. We had a really good time.
Oh, I'm really happy for you. But now you're done, right? Traveling the world is back to podcast.
I'm done for a year, man. I'm not going anywhere.
So let's get this show on the road.
There you go.
So, on most podcasts, you'll hear leave a comment and we'll read it on the show. On this podcast, leave a comment and it might get you on the show. So this is true of previous guests such as Chris Ricci, Robert Bentley, and today's guest, a professional musician who continues the Southern rock tradition from trailblazers such as Lynyrd Skynyrd, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. On the show to talk about his musical influences, of course, talk about Kiss, and his own band, the Curt Towne Band, the man himself, Curt Towne. Welcome to the show, my good friend.
Yay!
Hey.
Thanks for coming.
I'm so excited to be on your show.
Thank you so much for all of your support from the very beginning.
Yes, I have been watching your show, listening to your show, listening to the podcast. I stumbled across it, and I'm very pleased because I've caught, I think, almost every episode, but
Wow.
I'm pretty close, if not.
Well, there you go. Now, here with us. First of all, before we get going, Curt, we just want to thank you, for so much for your support, for supporting the show. It really means the world to us. So obviously you're on the show because you're an avid Kiss fan. We can see your shirts, your jersey there, and all of the stuff that you have behind. And can you tell us a little bit about your musical influences that led you to discover Kiss?
Well, as long as I can remember, I've always been very musically inclined, or of some degree. My grandmama was a classical pianist, and so music goes through our family to a certain respect. Some of them didn't want to pick it up, some of them did, but it's in our blood. So, and then growing up around it in Jacksonville, it was everywhere. I mean, everywhere. My step-grandmother lived 3 streets down from the Van Zant family. So, you know, we saw the Van Zants all the time, but it was a very common situation. So, we, you know, to see everybody at the grocery store, at the mall. It was just a bunch of nice guys, whether it was 38 Special or Molly Hatchet or Skynyrd or whomever, and you would just see them around. And still to this day, so nothing's changed.
Mhm.
So my musical influences to pick up the guitar and to play, or better yet, I guess it would be better just to say what got me enthralled with music is probably the best way to go.
Uh-huh.
So early on, when I discovered Kiss, I was just head over heels for the band, particularly Peter Criss.
Oh,
So
really?
Peter Criss,
Okay.
I originally started with drums, and then I was singing, and then I became a guitarist. And so for me, Peter Criss was, it. I mean, he was the coolest. And so I wanted to be just like Peter Criss. And so I wanted everything Peter Criss. I still want everything Peter Criss. But I had a lot of fun doing that. And so that started me on my musical journey in the sense of, I love this. This is amazing. Music is everything.
This is my life. This is my life.
It's a huge part of my life. So with that being said, I have some aunts and uncles that are not that much older than me, but just old enough to hand me down all these cool records. Like my Uncle Charlie would hand me down Alice Cooper records, and he would hand me down some Kiss records and other records, the Eagles and such. And my Aunt Jacqueline and my Aunt Jennifer would hand me down stuff like Elton John and Deep Purple and those things too. So for a kid, that was pretty awesome.
Of course, it opens up, a new universe for you. Of course.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So that I wanted to either play baseball, which what kid doesn't want to play baseball, or music. And if anything interfered with my music, then that had to go.
So you were saying that your musical journey, and speaking of that, so can you walk us through what have you done musically before starting your new band, the Curt Towne Band?
Well, I've been playing professionally since I was 15.
15. Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
So given my surroundings, I honestly thought at 15, wow, I'm really too old to be starting to play professionally at 15. But now I look back and I go, man, I was only 15.
That's right.
So I played with lots of bands. I've been very blessed. I played with lots of bands. I played with lots of artists. I've either jammed with, toured with, recorded with, or played with guys like Robert Sweet of Stryper. I did a project with Robert Sweet. And then I did with Kelly Garney, which was the original bassist for Quiet Riot and Randy Rhoads' best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kel Rhodes, which is Randy Rhoads' brother. We did this project together and a little demo thing for Japan, and we became really good friends. I've done that. I've played with Johnny and Donnie Van Zant, Molly Hatchet. I've been privileged to play with, a lot of really awesome people, either recording or touring or, on stage or whatever the situation is. And please forgive me if I haven't mentioned anybody, but it's I've been very blessed to do that. So I've done a lot of those things. And then with the Curt Towne Band, we've been very blessed to open up for a lot of our friends, such as Lynyrd Skynyrd, 38 Special, Molly Hatchet, and the Marshall Tucker Band, the Outlaws. And we've been very blessed to play, Southern Rock cruises and Skynyrd cruises. And
Mm-hmm.
we haven't got to play the Kiss cruise.
Not yet.
That would be awesome.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm waiting. Come on, guys.
So the Curt Towne Band is Southern rock. So in your opinion, how different or similar do you feel Southern rock is to Kiss?
Well, I think honestly, the work ethic is really the same. I mean, reared under Skynyrd, it was always that work, rehearse, go out there and, give it everything you've got, especially when people are sitting there like this. That's even better because you got to win them over. And then when they, they're jumping up and down, you've done something. And Skynyrd comes out and blows the roof off the place. So
Yeah.
that's a good time. So the work ethic is definitely similar. And I grew up listening to, Paul Stanley in particular talk about, giving the money's worth and, going out there and giving it all, and then witnessing concerts where they just, no matter what, gave it all. They laid it all on the line. So how can you not be influenced by guys that no matter how many thousands of miles are going, and trust me, it takes a lot to get from one place to another. And then you go out on that stage and you've got to give it 110%, regardless of the situation. So Kiss is very similar to Southern rock in my experiences with those guys, witnessing it firsthand, that no matter what, when you hit that stage, you give it everything you have. So your passion, that's your opportunity to connect with the people. And I don't know if I'll ever get to play again in my life. So I give it everything I got.
That's right.
So do you feel that Kiss has a direct influence on your music and on your stage performance?
100% on my stage performance. Yeah, I absolutely do. I feel that Paul Stanley, for instance, he is the ringleader. He goes out there and he basically is the quarterback. He's surveying and he's figuring out what side to pull in at what time. And you can see all these things going through his mind, so to say. So he's out there directing traffic and he's getting the crowd motivated. And if this part of the crowd starts to go down a little bit, he runs over there and gets them up. And Gene, he's Gene. He goes out there and, oh, yeah, so they don't allow you to sit back and just sit back and be entertained. They grab you by the face and say, we're going to entertain you. So, yes, absolutely, 100%. They've huge influence in that and other things, too. I mean, marketing and advertising, all those things. I mean, we're students of KISS.
Yeah.
The KISS University.
Yeah. True.
So, I mean, with all the money we've spent, we should have at least an 8-year degree. Would you agree?
That's a good one.
True.
Hey, Curt, we really want to get into the Curt Towne Band, and then we will discuss it later on the show. Sure. Because we believe it's fascinating to us how much of an influence KISS has had on so many bands out there. So, in a sense, we would like to understand your love for KISS to better understand your band, so the Curt Towne Band. So let's start from the beginning. We should have maybe started with this episode with this question, but how did you get into KISS?
Well, when I was a little kid, I remember coming home from the store, walking in the summertime, walking home from the store, which was not that far away. And back then you could walk, and people would actually, pay attention. Hey, he's walking here, that type of thing. So being a little kid, you could do that and have a safe journey back and forth. With that being said, I don't remember exactly what shirt I wore, but I've always loved Dolly Parton.
Okay.
So it was most likely like a Dolly Parton shirt or something. But this kid that was probably about 15 years old said, "What? That's not a band." And he said, "Come here." And back at that point, a lot of us didn't have air conditioning, believe it or not, in Florida. And so the doors would be open, that type of thing. And he was playing Kiss Alive. Ooh. Now, I was just like, who are these clowns, right? This is amazing, right? I was a little kid. And he goes, "What?" And so he actually gave me a bicentennial KISS poster. How cool is that?
Nice.
So thank you. I don't remember your name, but God bless you. So he gave me this bicentennial poster. And I went home and I showed my mom, and my mom said, "Those are the ugliest clowns I've ever seen." but she was supportive. And my dad was like, "I don't get this kid. Something's wrong with him." So they allowed me to put it up in my room. and a friend of mine, he let me borrow Hotter Than Hell, and it was a really bad cassette, and it was, but I listened to it as much as he would allow me to. So I heard Hotter Than Hell, and I had heard parts of Alive, and I thought, wow, that was great. And at some point in that time, I ended up getting Destroyer. That's why I'm wearing my Destroyer shirt.
There you go.
I ended up getting Destroyer, and I remember watching the Halloween special, Paul Lindy Halloween special.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I was just, that was it. I mean,
That's it.
that was it. Peter Criss, with the cat makeup, he just really appealed to me, and I was already beating on everything and had a little drum set thing, a little drum snare and all. And so he played drums, and that's all I could ever remember wanting to do was play drums. So it just was the perfect fit. And that's how I started as a Kiss fan. And the coolest thing about it is that I've never had an expectation album-wise. And what I mean by that is I never said, well, Destroyer is amazing, I want another The Destroyer. And Rock and Roller Over is amazing, and I want another Rock and Roll Over. I've never had that. I just said, wow, it's a new Kiss
It is what it is. That's it.
And I've loved it for different reasons. I have my favorites, but I knew that I wouldn't be disappointed. I knew that it wouldn't be, well, I don't like it because it's not Destroyer.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
So it's been great because I've never had an expectation other than I knew that they were gonna, put out something that I liked.
So from what you're saying, Curt, so you started off really early on with the band, okay, in the 70s with the original lineup. Is that your favorite lineup, or did you follow them in the 80s, non-makeup era and all this stuff? So
well, yes, I have. It is my favorite era,
okay.
But I have followed them throughout the history of the band.
Okay.
So at first, I moved to Monticello, Florida for just a couple of years. And in that time in Monticello, Florida, it's very rural, and they didn't have any record stores. It was, you had to go to Tallahassee to go to a mall, that type of thing. So it was very much like Back to the Future. So it was great. But when I went to go get a Kiss, I said, do y'all have a Kiss album? Because I think it was, and I'm not making this up, the Piggly Wiggly had some records, and they were like, what is Kiss? What are you talking about?
What is it?
Kids. So, I'm not in the big city anymore, fellas. Something's wrong. So when I got back, my Aunt Jacqueline, for my birthday, got me Lick It Up. And that was the first time that I saw them officially without the makeup.
Without the makeup. Okay.
And so I thought, wow. But I really, I instantly loved it. And the second I heard All Hell's Breaking Loose, I was like, that's it. This is great.
Yeah.
So I've loved them through everything.
There you go. So I have one more question before passing the pot to Pas. So speaking of that, so what concerts or Kiss related events have you attended?
Well, I've been to several concerts, not as many as a lot of your guests, but I started going in the Asylum tour.
Oh, 85, around
in
that?
Jacksonville,
Okay.
Florida. So I went to the Asylum tour, and literally Eric Carr's drums were so loud, my eyes were jittery the whole time because his drums were so thunderous, I couldn't focus. I was like, wow. So if that tells you, they were rocking the house, and it was packed. So everybody was having a good time. So I saw them every tour after that they were in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And so I saw them on the reunion tour, which was a big deal, several times on the reunion tour. And I saw them on their farewell tour, and throughout. And so I've seen them I haven't seen him with Vinny. I never got to see Mark St. John. Obviously, not very many of us were privileged enough to see that. And I didn't see the original lineup from the beginning, but from '87 on. And so I've seen a lot of that. And I've got to go to some Orlando Kiss conventions.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. And then I've got to, over traveling, sometimes I get to see them on the road, like in Nashville. I happen to be in Nashville, and they were in Nashville. And so the guys at Gibson hooked me up.
Mm-hmm.
I got passes, to go see Kiss. That was in '94, the Revenge Tour. Yeah.
Nice.
And so that was really neat. So I've seen them, very different ways, so to say, but I loved it. I always loved it. I was never disappointed. I never, I always loved it to one degree or another, but, that's basically it.
I have to ask, because you mentioned you never expect anything after a particular Kiss album. So, for example, you don't expect another Destroyer, another Rock and Roll Over. But
Correct.
Was there a Kiss album where you thought, okay, this does not meet your expectations at all? Wait a minute, this is not Kiss. What am I listening to here?
Well, Carnival of Souls was difficult for me.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, I don't know if it's because of my experience in the studio or being around the studio or whatever. But when I first got it, it was on CD, right? And it's a little bit too dark for me. I like heavy stuff, but I don't like real heavy stuff. And as long as it's melodic.
Mm-hmm.
And so listening to some of those songs separately, it's amazing. But listening to it as a whole, I didn't really take it too well, in the sense of it wasn't an album that I didn't like, but it was one that I would listen to the least.
Okay.
So I recently got it on vinyl. My wife got it for me on vinyl, and it sounds amazing. So if I would have gotten it on vinyl, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But probably because of my recording experience, the tonality and everything. And I'm not a guy who goes, oh, I don't like the tonality of this one. I have White Tiger and with Mark St. John, and that wasn't recorded very well, but I enjoy it for what it is. But with the Kiss album, for some reason, it was just too, I don't know, just something about it didn't rub me the right way. It didn't work for me. So with the vinyl, it sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love all of them. I love The Elder, believe it or not. And so, but then again, I like Unmasked, so I like all of them. I have to be in a mood, like I'm sure you guys have to be in a mood. And when I'm in a mood to hear Crazy Nights, I'm turning on Crazy Nights.
Yeah. Hey, Curt, not so long ago, we had a discussion panel with Pat and Craig on Sonic Boom and Monster. Do you like them? Do you like those albums? Yes, you do.
I like them. I enjoy Kiss. It brings me that, I guess joy. I guess
okay.
It would be. I enjoy it because it's my escape, right? So yes, they're my super comic book heroes, and I think they're super awesome, cool. But at the same time, I know they're human beings and, that type of thing. So I go and I just escape. I listen to it. I enjoy it for what it is. And I have a good time. Yeah. And I don't feel bad about it, despite what some of my friends might say. In other words, for instance, my buddy Johnny Van Zant and Ricky Medlock, every now and then it's an inside joke. I'll tell you some other time. But anyway, so they go, what exactly is it about Kiss that you like so much anyway? So, so we just, so it's a cool thing.
So being a Kiss fan, collecting goes hand in hand. And I can see that impressive collection behind you. It looks like CDs, vinyl, a couple of figures back there. Do you consider yourself a Kiss collector?
Yes. I haven't, when I was a kid, what little bit I could get, I hung on to the best I could, like most kids. And I have a lot of that. I have my records still, but some of it I don't have just from moving or whatever. I just don't have it. But I have a lot of it that I've had since I was a teenager. Really, I just kind of, it meant a lot to me, so it's sentimental, and I've hung on to it. And so from that aspect, I do have a lot of things I do collect, but I'm not in the sense of I have to have it because it says Kiss. If that makes sense. If I enjoy it and I want to get it, I'll get it. But if I look at it and I go, you got to be kidding me, no way, then there's been a few times in the Spencer's gift section that I was just like, no,
I'm not buying this. No.
Gene's kids are going to have to find their own way to college.
I should have thought about that when I spent over $400 on Hello Kitty Kiss stuff. What was I thinking?
Wow.
So if you can have 3 Holy Grail Kiss items, what would they be and why?
Well, I do have 3 Holy Grail Kiss items for me. So one of them, I need to set up the story. So when I first met Kiss, right, I met them on the Hot in the Shade tour. And on the Hot in the Shade tour, I got them to sign a Kiss and the Attack of the Phantoms movie poster. And when I took it to Paul first, I had written a letter about how they influenced me and, with everything that they'd done. And Paul Stanley sat there and read it, the whole thing. And he said, wow, thank you so much. He said, but thank you, because if it wasn't for guys like you, for our fans, I'd still be driving a taxi cab. Whoa. So thank you. And I'm shortening the story. And I was just like, wow. And he said, so I got him to sign the poster, which I'm fixing to show you. And he said, wow, I don't think I've ever signed one of these before. He said, Gene's going to love this. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, Gene's going to love this. Right? So I took it to Gene, which was in the hotel. So I took it to Gene and I gave him the note and he just looked at it and went, like that. Awesome. And then I got him to sign my poster and I said, Paul said that you would probably love this. And he just looked at me like, yeah, right, kid. And he blew my mind because he took the Sharpie without looking at me. He was looking at girls and he was signing the poster and signed everything for a couple other people. And his signature was perfect every time from the tip of the Sharpie, never looking. And I was more amazed that he could sign it the same way every time without looking. And I wasn't he actually signed my poster. So I'm going to show it to you here. Let me see if I can get it here for you. Is the Kiss and the Attack of the Phantoms poster.
Yeah.
Signed by all 4 original members.
That's a beauty.
Holy moly.
This
is one hell of a item. Wow.
So that took me 4.5 years to get everybody to sign it. But I did. I got them to sign it, and it was super awesome. So that's my Holy Grail number 1. And then I would have to say, in that same meeting of the Hot in the Shade, I got to meet Eric Carr. So with meeting Eric Carr, which is a funny story in itself, we met him the night before, my buddy Bert, who used to be security for my bands and stuff like that. And he was a dear friend of ours. And he was half Samoan, a really big guy, size 19 shoe, and it looks like normal. Oh. So if you can imagine, this is a big guy, right? So we go walking in to the bar of the hotel because Bert said, I bet they're in the bar. So we go walk around. At the time, my band at the time was doing really well locally, especially and regionally and whatnot. So when we walked in, some girls said, it's Curt, oh my God. Right? So they made this big deal about it. But the funny thing is that Eric didn't know that I knew one of the girls who started the, oh my God, it's Curt Towne, right? So it wasn't planned, it just happened. So the girls that were standing around Eric Carr, there was like 6 of them, ran to me on the other side of the bar.
That's a
Eric Carr. And Eric Carr's looking like, who in the heck are these guys? Right? So I get up and I said, hey, my name is Curt Towne. And he's looking around. And Bert, this is my buddy Bert. And he's like looking around. And he goes, who are you guys? What is it? And I said, I'm in a band and we're doing okay. We talked for probably a couple of hours actually. We had mutual friends. We had an artist friend, a cartoonist named Larry Blake, who we were both friends with, and he had done some stuff. So one of my other holy grails is actually this. So I got Eric Carr to sign the napkin.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's me and Eric Carr. So
Look at
that's
that.
another holy grail.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
That's
So
awesome.
then my third holy grail. So I told you I've always loved drums. It's my first love. Drums are my first love. And of course, Peter Criss is my first hero on drums, and I still love his playing to this day. And not to take anything away from Eric Carr, I love his drumming. I love Eric Singer's drumming. I love all this. But Peter Criss, he was
Peter
the guy
Criss.
who got me wanting
right.
to be a musician. I wanted to be a musician because of Peter Criss. And so a buddy of mine who I called today and asked permission if I could use his name just to be courteous and respectful. He's toured with Kiss, Ozzy, the Black Crowes. I mean, just tons of bands. But he was their a lead driver for them. So he had a pretty big responsibility to get everybody where he needed to be for buses and such as that.
Uh-huh.
So on the farewell tour, when Peter Criss was in the band, he asked me if I was going to meet him in Jacksonville. And I said, well, I have prior commitments and I can't be in Jacksonville. So he said, well, how about Tampa? And I said, I'm on my way. So anyway, and I got to meet him at that time. It's another story. But so I had asked him, I said, Peter Criss has a splash cymbal on a live, and I can never figure out exactly which one that is because I've tried out hundreds and they don't sound like his. Could you ask him which splash cymbal it is? And he was friends with Gigi Criss, and Peter Criss was very kind, and so he had a rapport. And he said, well, sure, I'll ask. So he asked, he said, my buddy Curt, and he had given Peter Criss, my current band at the time was Driven. And so he had given them our CD, and he said he listened to it and he liked it and whatnot, which was awesome. And so when he said, hey, that's my buddy I gave you the CD from, he said he asked about your cymbal. And he wasn't sure which one it was. He just said it was like a splash or something. And Peter Criss was like, oh yeah, right? So he asked him, he said, could you tell me what it is? Because he wants to know. So you know what he did? He went and got it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God. No.
Right?
Oh.
So he signed it, and he got Paul Stanley to sign it, Tommy Thayer to sign it, and of course Peter Criss signed it.
Oh.
And
Oh,
this
wow.
is Peter Criss's splash cymbal
Oh
from his
man.
drum set.
Oh, that's
And he
really
said-
holy grail.
He said, well, it's got a crack in it. And I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a crack in this cymbal. But it was so kind to him to give this to me, and I still can't believe it to this day. But my buddy Bob Bramall got that for me, and this is off of Peter Criss's drum set.
This is
that
so awesome.
is a holy grail.
Holy
So-
moly.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
you
so
you
that's,
cannot beat that. You cannot
So
beat
that,
it.
is- that right there is a incredibly special to me.
Well, tell us about it. So, we love so much hearing the stories of fans like you, meeting the band, these great stories. So we it's like we always seem to learn something new about, the individual band members and through the eyes of, in this case, through your eyes. Okay.
Right.
And we know that you met every member of the band except for Vinnie Vincent and Mark St. John.
Correct.
So I would like to start with a member of Kiss you haven't met. So what are your impressions of Vinnie, and would you really like to meet him?
Well, yes, I would love to meet Vinnie Vincent. I'm a big fan of his songwriting.
Okay.
You know, I have the Treasure album, believe it or not. I have the Treasure album that he was on, and I have the Vinnie Vincent albums that he was on, and I have the Warrior CD, and I have different things, and of course the Kiss records that he was on and involved with, and I love his songwriting. I love melodic songs, so I would love to sit down with him and just say, you know what, I'm a fan of your songwriting, and I'm a fan of your time in Kiss. You know, I bought Vinnie Vincent when it first came out, both albums. I'd love to have another one. You know, so I would like very much to meet him, and you know, I hope that answers the question for you. I would really enjoy meeting him, and you know, from what I understand, everybody who has met him said that he was gracious with them with their time.
It's very kind.
So I would like that. Yes.
Okay.
One of the nicest guys in show business, Bruce Kulick. You met him?
Yes, I did. I met him at a Kiss convention, and he was very kind. He was generous with his time. I don't remember what we joked around about, but we joked around about a little bit of, you know, stuff, because I'm usually joking around some degree. And so I remember John Corabi was there. So I got to meet John Corabi, and they were doing the Union stuff. So I got to see that. And then we had a mutual friend later on. So he sent me some Kiss stuff signed and whatnot, which was very cool of him to do. So he was very personable. He was very kind. And even, you know, several years ago, I wrote him an email, or not an email, but a message or something on one of his sites. And he responded. So, you know, what more could you ask for?
Exactly.
He's very polite and very courteous. And you know, he's somebody you could definitely hang out with, and, you know, and just have a good time.
Bruce Kulick, he's such a professional in everything that he does.
I agree completely. You know, to be in his situation and his history with Kiss, and be such a you know, he's been just so kind to all the Kiss fans, and welcoming and celebrating the original Kiss and celebrating the current Kiss. I mean, he has been the Kiss ambassador. So
it's true.
He's been wonderful.
It's true. Yeah.
No, an overlooked era in Kiss is the 80s, and he's constantly bringing back the 80s for the fans and reliving the 80s music. Just incredible stuff that he's doing on the Kiss cruise.
Yeah. See, that's something you guys have been on the Kiss cruise.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. That is so cool. I would love to go on a Kiss cruise, but to me, I mean, you guys correct me, it seems like it would be the camaraderie of a big Kiss convention with Kiss.
That's right.
You're living on Kiss World for 5 days with like-minded fans. It's the most incredible experience you'll ever have. It's just, it can't be compared to any other Kiss-related event. It really can't.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, Curt, what are your thoughts about Eric Singer?
He was great. I met him a couple of times. I met him in Daytona, and I met him in Los Angeles. but I met him in Daytona, and the first time I met him, and I was a fan of Badlands. I still am a fan of Badlands, and he was in Badlands. And I love Lita Ford, and he had played with Lita Ford. And so I love Alice Cooper, and he played with Alice Cooper. So he's an amazing drummer, and he was a nice guy. He was a really nice guy. I didn't spend a lot of time with him. You know, sometimes you are able to sit and talk with him for a little bit, and sometimes you just hang out kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've met him, you know, a few times. Sometimes on the road you meet people by happenstance. You're in the same airport. You're in, you know, whatever, same truck stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So just sometimes you meet by happenstance, you know. But he was very kind and tremendously talented, And I always appreciated the fact that he was a Kiss fan. So that was cool.
Hey, Curt, I know we mentioned before the story with Eric Carr, and every time we talk about Eric, so we all kind of become emotional. Okay, so
Absolutely.
Being such a humble guy, you know, such an amazing person. Do you have any other stories with Eric Carr that you might want to share with us?
Well, I got to hang out with him for probably a couple hours.
Couple of hours, yeah.
And we had, like I said, a mutual friend, Larry Blake, who was a cartoonist. And when I told him, because Larry had said, if you meet him, tell him that we're friends. So I did. And he said, oh, yeah, Larry, man, that's great. And so Larry had told me that Eric, was a cartoonist and he was drawing this cartoon. Well, I didn't know anything about that until he told me. So we were talking. And I said, in the midst of conversation, and I said, he told me that you were a cartoonist and you had these little characters. And he said, yeah, and he was all excited about it. And he actually put pen to paper, because I said, what does it look like? And he started to draw one, and he stopped, and he goes, I would draw it for you, but I can't because I'm trying to keep it secret right now. But he goes, yeah, man. I was like, okay. But man, how cool would that have been if he would have.
Can you imagine?
Guys, and that would have been really cool, but he didn't. But we had that mutual, connection.
Okay.
And so the next day, he actually they had a bus that was named Hotel California, and a guy named Bear who was driving the bus, and Bear was friends with several friends of mine because the bus drivers are friends.
Yeah.
Kind of. Mm-hmm. But he was very cool, very nice guy. And the bus was Hotel California. So they were out there, and Eric, matter of fact, there was some lady pushing a stroller with a baby, a little kid. And they were like, what's that? And he goes, oh, it's a tour bus. And anyway, so he said, come on. So we just kind of stood right there in the little front way, and he was like, y'all want a banana? Y'all want something? So he gave the kid a banana, and showed him a little bit of stuff. And I felt like maybe I've taken up too much time, even though he didn't seem that way at all. But it was just Eric on the bus and Bear. And he was like, yeah, man, great meeting you guys. And, so, I mean, I always loved Eric Carr from day one. Now, I was in Monticello during the Creatures of the Night and all that, so I didn't, in the Elder, so I didn't know about Eric Carr immediately because I left and unmasked. So when I got fast forward, so when I got back and found out about Eric Carr, it was actually Look It Up, right? Mm-hmm. That was the time frame when I had heard maybe Peter Criss was out of the band, but it was. Wasn't like instant now kind of stuff. So, but I loved his attitude, and I just thought, man, what a great guy. So then when you see stuff with him, it was just, how can you not love this guy? Exactly. So when I actually got to meet him, and he was so personable and so friendly, then it was really a very, very special thing. And he acted like you were long lost friends.
Yeah. Everybody says that. Everybody says the same thing, he's such a lovable guy. And
he was so cool.
Yeah, just to wrap up on some of the band members, any good memories with Tommy Thayer? So have you met him?
Tommy Thayer on the farewell tour when Peter Criss was still in the band, right? And this is in Tampa, Florida, when I met Tommy Thayer. My buddy Bob said, hey, you come out and hang out with me. So my buddy Mark and I went and hung out with Kiss all day, basically. They weren't there all day, but they came in, we hung out and what to do and what not to do, that kind of thing. So we hung out, and everybody was cool. And they came in without the makeup, of course. And that's all funny stories I'll tell you sometime. And they came in, with the makeup and the whole 9 yards. All great stories. But in that time frame, Tommy Thayer was running around, and there was still an uncertainty: is Ace going to come? Is Ace not going to come? Mm-hmm. But God bless Tommy Thayer; he was running around still doing the road manager thing, not the tour man, not the not Doc McGee's job, but he was still running around making sure everything was taken care of in full makeup.
Really? Oh.
On the Les Paul.
Just in case.
Doc McGee came out. This is, they were trying to wrestle in everybody, get everybody together. And he goes, this is Doc McGee, has anybody seen this big demon guy? He's like really big. And, Doc McGee's like 3 feet tall. So he's like, oh my God, where's the demon guy? I had met Doc McGee before. He's a really awesome guy. So anyway, it was just kind of, they were having fun with it. It's basically what it is. And then Gene came out, 18 feet tall. It was great.
Good stuff.
Tom there, I met him briefly. And he was, even despite the fact that he was stressed from trying to get everything done, because there's a lot of stress going on with that, he was very accommodating and very kind.
He's very kind, yeah.
And he didn't beat it, kid, you bother me. He didn't do any of that. So I understood his job and respected it immensely, and I was just happy to say hello.
Cool, good stuff.
So the only member we haven't talked about is Ace Frehley. What was it like meeting him?
Well, when I took the poster to get him to sign it at the Orlando Kiss convention, his the lady that was helping him said, "Oh, Ace is gonna love this. He's gonna be overjoyed and love this because he just laughs every time he hears about the movie and all this stuff, right?" So I said, "Oh, great." So at that point, I had Gene and Paul, but I hadn't had Peter Criss yet. So in that Orlando convention, I met Ace and Lydia Criss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lydia.
You guys can see that. You probably can't see the excitement on Ace's face quite matching the excitement on my face. But
as usual. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And then the next time I met him, I had the Rock Soldiers thing or whatever I was supposed to meet him. When he had the Rock Soldiers
the album
deal. Yeah. And so I was supposed to meet him, and he had the flu. So I was like, all right, it's all good. But he was nice enough, and so when he signed it, she goes, "Isn't this cool, Ace? I told him you would love it." He just looked at me and was like, But,
so Ace, that's Ace.
That's Ace. He was like,
And Curt, so what about when you met your idol, Peter?
Well, I'll tell you, with Peter Criss, so I met him first time at the Kiss Orlando convention, or the Orlando Kiss convention, I should say. And that was cool. But one of the coolest things ever was meeting him on that farewell tour. And I was standing with my buddy Mark Barrero, my buddy Bob Bramall, and Gene and Paul had walked up. Doc McGee was there, Gigi Criss, and Peter Criss. And I had given him a drum magazine. And anyway, and we were talking about Gene Krupa. I knew he loved Gene Krupa.
Of course.
So I'd given him an article on Gene Krupa, and he was very appreciative. And so it was kind of one of those just moments. It was just kind of an in passing type moment. But he told the guys, he said, "Yeah, man, the kid can play. The kid can really play." And he was talking about me with my CD. So that was just
wow.
Peter Criss said the kid can play. And I looked around, and my buddy Mark was like, "He's talking about you." And I was like, So to have my hero say the kid could play, the kid could really play, was just how do you top that?
Exactly.
So the first time I met him at the convention, I took the Kiss Meets the Phantom poster to get him to sign it. And I took a VIN cassette of the band that I was with at that point and said, "Hey, you're a huge influence on me. You're the reason why I got into music, as far as this is what I have to do. And would you sign this poster?" I said, "I play guitar on this cassette." And he said, "That's all right, man. And I told him I played drums on it. He said, "That's all right, man." He goes, "I like guitar players too. You got to have somebody to jam with." Well, I was so awestruck. He signed it with a paint pen. and they just kind of moved me along, and I just kind of folded the posters like, oh, watched it a little bit, but you know what? It was awesome. But so fast forward, okay? So fast forward, I'm in there, and this is that farewell tour with Peter Criss in December 3rd of whatever year that was. So anyway, in Tampa, Florida. So we were back there. Bob allowed us to be back there. And we had our passes, but I've always been notorious for sticking them in my pocket because people will say, hey, you know, where'd you get that? How'd you do that? You know, kind of thing. And understandably so. So we were very nonchalantly just to the right place at the right time when Kiss was going to the stage. And these are all true stories. They were going to the stage. And so we were walking up there, Mark Barrero and myself. And Peter Criss was standing in front of me, and we weren't allowed to have cameras or anything. And we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all that stuff. So we had this camera that, you know, was one of those throwaway cameras that you turned on to flash. Well, it didn't flash. But I said, I can't help myself. Pete, and he's standing in front of me with full makeup, and I'm all of a sudden like 6 years old again. I said, can I touch the arm, man? And he said, sure. And he touched, oh my God. And he took a picture with me, but it didn't turn out, which stinks.
Oh.
But and then we walked with them literally next to the side of the stage, and they were doing their whole rah, 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 kick them in the knee kind of thing. And Peter Criss goes, hey man, I'm sorry, but I got to go run up this thing to play. And I'm going, And then this guy, I don't know where, he goes, who are you? What are you doing here? And it was Kiss with Doc McGee, Mark Barrero, and myself. And this other guy was like, what are you guys doing here? So we said, go. And we ran around to the other side of the stage, and they were like, the greatest show, right? And the curtain drops, and some guys start running by me like, look out, Curt. And I was just kind of going, oh my God. They were pulling the curtain, and I was like, this is amazing. So,
Wow.
So that to me summed up meeting Peter Criss.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Great story. Pass.
So, Curt, we can't end this discussion without talking about the Curt Towne Band. So, for our listeners who have not heard of the band, what can you tell us about it?
Well, it's, you know, we're an original band, so it's all just heartfelt, real, you know. You lived it, or you lived it through experiences, through someone else that you know, kind of thing. And it's just real lyrics, real music, heartfelt, that, you know, we put every bit of our passion into, whether it's a rocker or a ballad or whatever. And there's not a lot of ballads, but you know, regardless of what it is, we pour everything we have into it. So it's an all original band. And we do some covers, you know, for fun every now and then if we're playing, you know, somewhere. But generally, we're a national touring act, internationally touring act. And so we open up for, you know, we typically have been blessed to open for Skynyrd and tour with them and, you know, the various bands that I spoke with about earlier. And they've been so kind to take us under their wing and you know, teach us and rear us the ways, so to say. And we've made lots of friends, from Blackberry Smoke on the road to, you know, just a lot of great bands. And so that's the kind of band we are. We're an original band, sink or swim. And like I said, it's pretty cool when you're playing in front of 10,000 people, and some of them are sitting there like this, and I work extra hard to get them out of the seat.
Yeah.
But when they get up and they're cheering and they're yelling and they don't even know who you are.
That's it. Mission
like,
accomplished.
Man, they're pretty cool. No, but you know, so, you know, just to go back and to be able to visit and to make new friends on the road. And you know, it's a very special thing because we've made very close friends with people from Germany and France and just all over the world. Right. You know, to Indiana and Michigan and, you know, New York and Miami and, you know, you name it, Mexico, whatever. But
the power of music, the power of music.
And that's the beautiful thing about music is because even if you can't speak the language verbally, you can't deny the language musically.
Absolutely.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Curt, we know that you're currently working on an upcoming album. Okay,
Correct.
so what can
Yes.
we expect from this new record?
Well, it has some very special guests that are dear friends of mine, and I'll tell you some of them that are already on there because I don't want to jinx myself with ones that may not be able to.
Okay.
But, for instance, Barry Rapp, who's singing in my band. Barry Rapp played with the Henry Paul Band and a slew of other bands, and he's singing and playing keys. And then Carol Bristow-Zur, she's singing with us, and she played with 38 Special for years, and she sang with Skynyrd and those things. So she's, in the band. They're two band members. And then Barry Lee Harwood is making a guest appearance. But whenever we're out and about, he'll join us whenever he can. He lives in Nashville. Barry Lee Harwood was in Rosin Collins, and he also was on a lot of the early Skinner stuff, playing dobro and mandolin and all that. So he's on there.
Okay.
And so we have other guests that are making appearances, and it's really like a family. I mean, it really is. It's our musical heritage, and we're very, we love each other. What can I say? But it's very family. So it's just amazing to have their talents involved in the ways that it is, because they bring so much musical just power.
That's right. Yeah, that's the word.
Soul.
Yeah.
To what we're doing, and I couldn't imagine it without them being a part of it. So I'm really excited about it.
That's so cool.
It's taken a little bit longer than I wanted to because everybody is playing catch up from the last 2 years, including myself.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So we're trying. We'd hope that it'd be out sooner, but unfortunately, if that's all you have to complain about, that's not too much.
Exactly, that's not too bad. Exactly. So, are you guys planning after the record is released? Are you guys planning a tour in the U.S.
Absolutely.
or internationally?
Well, we are definitely planning on touring with it, and we still are touring, but when we can, obviously.
Yeah.
But so as far as touring, it's whoever allows us to come on. So if they have an opening here or an opening there, and they're gracious and allow us to come on board, then we certainly want to be there. And we have some dates that are coming up with different bands that are friends of ours, and we're very, very grateful. And we also may have the opportunity to play the Grand Ole Opry this year. For this thing called the Josie Awards, which I'm just finding out about. We've been nominated along with some other bands for Best Southern Rock Country. We're not country, but Southern Rock. And it's always been a dream of mine to play the Grand Ole Opry, believe it or not.
Of course.
And saying that, I'm a big Kiss fan, but I'm also a Hee Haw fan. I'm also a Grand Ole Opry fan.
Of course.
So for me, you can't get any better than that. So
of course not.
Hopefully we're allowed the privilege to do that, and if so, then we'll be in Nashville this year in October.
Oh, that could be nice.
3rd,
Cross fingers, man.
Yes,
Cross fingers.
I appreciate that very much.
That could be nice.
So we're very honored that they would even know who we are. So we were very, very grateful.
Oh, we were talking off air, Curt, about this podcast that really it's about, Kiss fans and supporting Kiss fans and what they do. And we definitely want to support you. And we want to have you back on the show when the album is released. And we'll talk more extensively about the band, more about the album. That is something that I hope you could come back and do, because it's something we would love to have you on for.
I am very, very grateful. Very grateful. I stay a pretty busy guy on all the things that I do. And but I really have been just so looking forward to being a part of this with you guys. I mean, last night, in all sincerity, I had a hard time sleeping. It was like going to Disney World or something. I was like, I'm ready to go, man. This is awesome. I've done several podcasts and things, and I'm very grateful to do any of that. But hey, we're Kiss fans, right? Yeah. And the cool thing is is that you get to swap Kiss stories. I mean, that's really,
Yeah.
how cool is that? I mean, as a Kiss fan, meaning another Kiss fan, have you ever really met a stranger? I
Exactly.
haven't, not as a Kiss fan.
It's true.
So I would love to, very much so love to.
Oh, we're definitely going to have you back on. Absolutely. So in the meantime, what message would you want to send to the KISS Army out there?
Well, I would say that as always with the changing times, I think that it's so cool that no matter whatever view you may have to what degree, when it all comes down to it, one of the things I love about being a KISS fan is that none of that really matters.
Yeah.
You come together as a KISS fan and you may have different views on different things, and that just kind of is still there, but it's kind of set to the side for the time being, and you're just enjoying speaking with other KISS fans. So I've always found that to be great because I love people. I love all people. If they're cool people, I love them. It doesn't matter. So with KISS fans, like I said, I've never met a stranger if you're in a KISS t-shirt.
I love it. Curt, we can't thank you enough, for being so kind to take part of your time to be with us. Listen, it's been one of my favorite episodes so far. It's unbelievable, man. You're so lovable, and we not only that we're all KISS fans, but your background is huge. So your musical, background, it's enormous. So we can't thank you enough for being part of this show with us and sharing your stories and being so humble to us. So thank you so much again. And we can't wait, to have you back once the record is released.
Well, I am very, very grateful to you guys. Like I said, I look forward to every episode, and I enjoy it very much. I can tell that you guys are sincere, and you have the love for the music, and you have the love for the camaraderie that is KISS, and it transcends all things, So I love that about that. It's you guys are, whether it's the episodes where you're talking about records, or do you like this or do you like that or whatever, you guys are always talking about it from a fan's perspective, and you're not saying, well, I don't like the guy, he had a busted E string and this, that, and the other thing, and negativity. It's always, even if it's something you don't necessarily like, it's not from a negative standpoint.
It is,
and that's one of the things that I love about your podcast, because it's from a true fan's perspective. A true fan is, going to have ups and downs like anybody else with the band. It's just what happens. But you're going to love the music and the camaraderie, and whether you like, I just like the original KISS, or I just like the new KISS, or I just like the 80s KISS, or I just like this. Everybody has something in common. We can all agree that we love KISS.
That's right.
And the camaraderie behind KISS. And I love that about your show. So I literally am a big fan, and I am very grateful for you guys having me on.
Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you.
That is beyond flattering. Someone that plays in front of thousands of people is nervous to come on our little podcast.
I love it.
It's incredible.
Hey, look, if I'm in town, and if I can be on anything, I don't have to be in town. It's the internet. I can be anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
If I'm anywhere in the world and I have a signal, and you guys want to talk about albums or anything, I don't care.
You're back on.
I would absolutely love to be a part of it anytime that I could. The only time I can't is if I'm in a studio and I'm having to pay total focus attention on that.
Mostly welcome.
Other than what I have to do for that, I would love to be a part of anything.
Thank you so much.
You guys ever want to do.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure, Curt. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, to the KISS Army, if you want to get involved with the KISS Army Nation podcast, send us your comments, questions, or ideas to talk to me at kissarmynationpodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone.
Ciao.
If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, Podomatic, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to make yourself heard. Leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you all soon, Kiss Army.